that in order to be redeemed, we need to have merciness from Hashem. In order to get merciness from Hashem, we have to have merciness on one another. And we know that there's a lot of flood of heresy in the world. There's lack of Hashem in the world. People don't realize that Hashem is running the world, and they need to have emunah. So therefore, to protect yourself from this flood of believing in nonsense, you have to make yourself like a teva. You have to be in the boat, like the ark, which is the Torah and mitzvot and halachot and religion. And you need to insulate yourself like Moshe and Noah. Actually, the Arizal says that Moshe was the Gilgul Noah, right? They're both in a boat, and the baby basket of Moshe and the ark of Noah. But now he goes into the detail with the difference between the two people. Noah was chosen to be lead leader and supposed to go and continue the whole entire world, to save the world really actually. Hashem saved him because he was supposed to be the leader of the world afterwards. He's supposed to be the tzaddik that's supposed to lead everybody afterwards, after the world was destroyed. But the path that Noah was supposed to take ended up being 17 generations later, following up with Moshe Rabbeinu. As the Zohar says in Zohar Hadash, Pashat Noah, even though Noah's generation, the merciness was beginning to reveal in the world, it wasn't fully revealed all the way until Moshe. It didn't reach the merciness didn't reach all the way to the bottom and in the depths of the place it's supposed to reach. But when Moshe came, then he was able to bring it down and fully reveal it, and that's when the Geulah happened. Moshe's leadership was different than Noah's leadership. Moshe was Moser Nefesh. He gave over all of his might, all of his soul, over for the sake of the Jewish people. But Noah on the opposite, Noah was a great person. The problem was, the Torah calls the flood Mei Noah, the waters of Noah. Why is it called waters of Noah? Noah's fault? In a way, yes, because he didn't rebuke his generation. Why did Hashem make it build a Noah's Teva for so long? People should see, should ask, and he should rebuke them. But he didn't rebuke them properly. He wasn't able to speak to their heart. He wasn't able to say the right words, and it fell on deaf ears and made fun of him, and nobody was saved along with him, just the animals, his family. But he was supposed to save the whole generation and stop the flood. But he wasn't able to zoche to do that. Moshe Rabbeinu, however, did. He did go and connect to the people. He did go and speak to them. He did go and give them rebuke, and they changed. So therefore, even though Noah was a big tzaddik, he didn't reveal the merciness because he didn't moser nefesh for other people. You understand? A person can be religious, but he has to moser nefesh for Am Yisrael. What does that mean? He has to give himself over, and part of himself, to volunteer part of himself for the sake of the Jewish people. It means it's not enough that you're religious. You have to make sure to share the light, and you have to make sure other people are religious around you. It's not enough that you say, "Oh, I'm in a bubble. I'm Bukharian, and I'm religious, so I run away to some other place, and I'm in my own little $4 Amon, my own 6 feet. I'm in my own house, my own community. Leave me alone. I don't want to hear about anybody who's Bukharian, who's off derech, who's not doing teshuvah. I don't want to hear anybody of them. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to see them." Right? Chaz v'shalom. Yes, you're right. You're a big tzaddik, but that's only like Noah. That's just to himself. You need to rebuke. You need to save your people. You need to do chesed with your people, right? You have to go and not disregard your minhagim. Definitely, you should not change your last name, and definitely, you should not change your minhagim. You should keep the minhagim of your father. Be proud of your last name. Be proud of your jomeh. Be proud of your, heritage, and promote it, and pass it on to your children. But more than that, you have to encourage your fellow community members, your fellow family members, your fellow friends, your other fellow Bukharians to also do teshuvah shlema. So therefore, a person has to know that you have to be like Moshe Rabbeinu, which includes Mesirat Nefesh. You know what Mesirat Nefesh is? Where you are so tired, you have no patience, and you say, "I have to. And I'm going to push myself. Overtime. I'm going to do it. I have to do it. It's the right thing to do. I'm going to push myself." You're not in the mood. You were about to walk away from work 5:30 and said, "I'm going to take it easy today. I'm going to go home work," and then a deal comes in. You say, "No, even if we're going to go home 6:37, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay. I'm going to get that deal. Mesirat Nefesh. I'm going to push myself." It's the same thing you have to do for the Jewish people in your community. If you have fellow people who they are not on the path and they need help and they need chizuk and they don't even realize, like we said, they're in the mode of the concealment within the concealment. They don't even know they're in galut. So of course we have an obligation to take care. We have to do a lot of kiruv. We have to do a lot of inviting over and chasadim. And as the Rambam says, the Geulah only comes through tzedakah. There's a lot of things we have to do, but it takes Mesirat Nefesh. And that's when you do Moser Nefesh and show your merciness to the extremes. To push yourself, to give time, you don't have money, you don't have to go save other people. That's when Hashem will also have mercy on us. And when we go above our nature, Hashem will go above nature for us. So therefore he says, לא ביקש נוח אלא השם בתשובה, אבל לא לעסק הגלות להמשיך דרך רחמים. Yes, Noah, he was supposed to ask for merciness for his people, and since he didn't, so therefore they were destroyed, but he was supposed to, and that would have saved them. So therefore, we don't know. You don't know what mission Hashem has for each one of us, how many people we're supposed to save, how many people we're supposed to have mercy on, and Chaz v'Shalom, we don't want to miss that opportunity. שורש עניין נעוץ בכך שלרמת משה לא נבדל נוח מבני דורו לגמרי, כי נוח היה בטבע עם בני ביתו, שחם בנו חוז בדרכי עולם האכזריות. And you should notice Noah, who did he go in the teva with? He didn't fully remove himself from the desires of this world, because he had Ham. Ham, we know, was eventually cursed. Right? And Ham came into the ark with his desire still in his hand. Right? We know the story that happened with Ham and Noah afterwards, when he disgraced Noah when he was naked and drunk. Right? And also, and we know that the Zohar, Pasha Noah says that Ham had in him the pollution of the snake. He was we see that Abraham had Ishmael, we had Yitzhak and Esav, and the pollution that the Nahash put into Hava, the snake put into Hava, it always came out in one of the offspring of the Avot, of the Tzaddikim in Sefer Bereshit. So we see Noah, his offspring that had this snake pollution was Ham, and what? And that's why, since he didn't separate himself, and he was still surrounded by people who were polluted and people who were not connected to Hashem 100%, that's what brought him down. And if he would be able to insulate himself, like we said before, you have to insulate yourself. You cannot be mixed with following everybody's ways. You have to insulate yourself. But at the same time, you have to be able to save others as well. So since Noah didn't fully insulate himself, it affected him. How did it affect him? It affected him that he didn't feel motivated and he didn't do exactly the kiruv job he was supposed to do. You understand? It's one is connected to the other. You have to do kiruv, but don't let them do kiruv to you. You can't let them pull you down. You have to be strong. You have to first insulate yourself, build yourself. And after you built yourself, insulated yourself, you have to go back and makar them. But don't let them bring you down. So Noah, he didn't fully insulate himself, and they brought him down. That's why he didn't ask for a hamim on them. But Moshe Rabbeinu, לעומתו היה לבדו בתיבתו, נרמז בזה שיבדל עצמו מכל נבראים כולם, לא הכניס ממוחו מידע עד נבראים כלל. He separated himself completely. He actually ran away from everybody. He actually went all the way to Midian, and he was separated from everybody. But the point is, Moshe would reach that level. He was fully insulated. He was built. He was strong. And then he was able to go. There is a famous story, though. There's a black plague, right? Black plague. They used to have, the doctors used to have this big masks. They look like a beak, right? And they used to go and they used to try to treat patients, right? So because they were all geared up, so they were okay to go and to save these people, even though there was bubonic plague everywhere. So the same thing, a person has to gear himself up. He has to have a lot of Torah, a lot of Yirat Shamayim, a lot of mitzvot, a lot of holiness. He's geared up spiritually, and then he's able to go and even go in places that has bubonic plague and save. You know, Rav Grossman, should live a long life. He is known as the disco rabbi. He used to be a rabbi. He used to go in the discotheques and he used to go and pull people out and mekarim them. Right? How are you a rabbi able to go in there? Okay, so for the sake of kiruv, for sure he did She'alah Rab, whatever, but he had a lot of holiness. He was able to go in such a place. You would think it's like bubonic plague over there, right? He was able to pull the neshamot out. So the person has to make sure to build himself and then go and save. Don't just say, shalom nafshi, I'm good, I'm religious, enough, I don't need to care about anybody else. No, all Jewish people are guarantees one another, perpetuating one to another.